What else is out?
Bob Marley, One Love, which is the biopic, as opposed to the biopic of Bob Marley, from director Ronaldo Marcus Green, who made the 2021 biopic King Richard, for which Will Smith won the Best Actor Oscar after the altercation on stage at the Academy Awards. He's also one of the director is also one of the 4 co-writers of the screenplay. So Kingsley Ben-Adir, who was Malcolm X in One Night in Miami, is Marley, who we meet preparing to do a peace concert in Jamaica, a concert that will bring together opposing powers. How did he get here? So the film then essentially unfolds in flashback, jumping back and forth between Marley leaving the violence that he's experienced in Jamaica, arriving in London in the 70s to record Exodus, his time as
Movement of the people.
Exactly. His time as an upcoming reggae star in Jamaica, meeting Rita, starting his journey, and then these sort of semi-hallucinatory flashbacks to his young childhood, abandoned by his white father, dreaming of fiery fields out of which comes a man on a horse, which is a kind of vision which comes to mean different things at different times in the film. Let's have a look at a bit of the trailer.
Redemption songs.
When you write that?
All my life.
Are you ready for Bob Marley and the Wailers? Don't let them fool you.
It's a hit.
Oh no.
Reggae is the people music.
You know you're a superstar.
I am a superstar. You can't separate the music and the message. You see, reggae music come to unify the people.
Not everyone likes what you're saying. For your own safety, you need to stop.
So, gives you a flavour. So
Yeah.
here's the
and
thing.
they're using the original tracks by the sound of it.
Yes, although actually the way in which the music is blended in with the with the film stuff is actually very adventurous, and they do some. I often have that thing about the voice of the voice of the character in the film, and then the voices that we hear in terms of the songs. It is adventurous, and that's one of the areas in which I think the film scores big. Some of it is very, very on the nose. When they arrive in London, it's literally like they arrive in London, the Clash are playing a gig, playing right, and there are coppers with truncheons going, "Oi, you layabouts, what are you doing here? Come over here so I may strike you about the head because I am a copper." And so there is a lot of it that is like that. The producers of the film include Rita Sedala and Ziggy Marley. So it's very, very authorised. And it is hagiographic. I mean, yes, we hear that he possibly wasn't the greatest husband ever, but we hear it in order for it to be raised and then dismissed and put out of the way pretty quickly. I was thinking when I was watching it, you'll remember that we reviewed Kevin McDonald's documentary Marley from 2012. And I went back to my review of that film because I had liked that. And I said at the time, perhaps the most moving thing about the film are the memories of Marley's daughter Sedala, who talks eloquently of her father's home life shortcomings. At one point, he is seen ungallantly denying his marriage on television, while still remaining fiercely loyal to his legacy. And of course, that was a documentary project. There was I think Martin Scorsese was involved and Jonathan Demme was involved. But I thought McDonald did a good job of telling a story of a complex character. The character is not complex here. The character here is really very kind of heroic and very admirable. Of course, I understand why. I think the issue with that is it means that the documentary has a blandness, the feature film has a blandness at its heart that I actually don't think was part of the story. When you watch that documentary, it's like, okay, what's interesting is all the conflicting elements. And I think there's a mistake to think that in order to admire somebody, you have to think that they were pretty great all around. The story is more interesting if they're not pretty great all around. I mean, there are times in the recording studio that I was very much reminded of, you remember Bohemian Rhapsody? I enjoyed Bohemian Rhapsody. It's good fun, but it has got some very, very kind of cheesy moments in which, boom, boom, I'm trying to write a song for the crowd to play. So we get a kind of replay at that. And at times I thought this was like Jamaican Rhapsody. It had the same sort of feel to it. On the plus side, the integration of the music and the drama, I think, is very well done. I think, whether it's a huge concert scene of, them doing No Woman, No Cry, or sitting on a porch singing redemptions or redemption song. It is redemption song, isn't it? They all seem to be of a piece. The music does appear to come out of the drama. And that, I think, I've seen so many pop biopics in which the music and the drama seem to be existing in different worlds, and that is not the case here. And so it's to do with re-recordings and remixings and different versions of things, using a whole bunch of different techniques to make sure that the music feels like it is of a piece. And then the performances are great. Kingsley Ben-Adir, I think, gets Marley's gait really well when you see him on stage, because Marley had a very particular way of moving on stage, a very particular way of standing, and you see all the kind of the stills of him, and you recognise him from silhouette. And it's not just to do with the outline of his hair and his body; it's to do with the way he moved. And I do think that Kingsley Ben-Adir gets that. Lashana Lynch absolutely steals the show as Rita. She's kind of, the way the film presents it, she's the moral heart of the story. She's the driving force. She's the person who leads Marley to discover himself. She's the person who essentially lays the road before him and then walks that road with him. And also, she's such a fantastic screen presence anyway. It's every minute that she's on screen, you're looking at her. And then, James Norton has fun as Chris Blackwell in that kind of, he's in the studio going, yes, I think this is an absolute hit. And then there's a couple of kind of, comedic moments about the cover of Exodus thing where it just looks like a poster for a movie. So I thought it was fine. I kind of, and I love the music, but what it doesn't have is any of the ragged edges that actually, because the thing about Bob Marley's story is it's not bland. It's full of contradictions. It's full of things that, jagged edges that mess up against each other. And this isn't. This kind of starts in very reverential form, and then it proceeds to stay in that reverential form for the rest of it, which is perfectly fine, but it's no more than fine. I know the film's got some very sniffy reviews, and I think they're perhaps more sniffy than it needs to be. If it's a perfectly entertaining watch with some absolutely dynamite music, but there is no rough edges to it at all.